As Scrum Masters and Agile coaches, we communicate with people all the time, be it our team members, stakeholders, and even executives. So it is super important for us to know how to interact, approach, and communicate with people around us. It not only affects how we make people feel and what they think of us, but more importantly, if they trust us. This makes communication skills the number one soft skill for Scrum Masters and Agile coaches. When I started out as a Scrum Master, I used to be somebody who was fairly nervous in social and collaborative situations. When I look back now, it feels like I never knew what I needed to say. Now I know that as a brand new Scrum Master and an Agile coach, it could be quite nerve-wracking to consistently think about how people perceive us. Of course, as time progressed, I perfected my craft, I became more and more confident, and I started to notice that these things are not as scary as we make them out to be in our heads. Hi everyone, my name is Vibor. Welcome to the world of Agile. Thank you for connecting with me. All the messages, all the comments, and all the love. I genuinely appreciate all of your interaction. This is my first video ever made. I am a little bit of camera shy, so I will be looking forward to your feedback. Either, message me directly or leave it in the comments, whichever way you prefer. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some tips on communication skills that helped me building more meaningful connections when I started out as a Scrum Master. Let's get started. So one of the most nerve-wracking things about social interactions in general is trying to figure out what we need to say. Our mind makes us believe that we have to be super funny and entertaining in order to be likable and confident. But that actually is not the case. And I found it the hard way. You see, the secret to Scrum Master success is not by showing off how knowledgeable you are, but by asking people to talk about themselves and motivating them to keep speaking by asking thoughtful questions. So the secret to being interesting is actually to be interested in the other person. But to be interested, we have to fully listen. And this means not interrupting the other person when they're talking, not looking at our phones, or looking over the shoulders at something happening in the distance.
I've got me eye on you, Jay.
That could be really distracting. People feel more comfortable around us when we show genuine interest in them and in the things that they are interested in. Body language. I'm pretty sure you already know that our body language usually expresses how we are feeling in the current moment. As Scrum Masters, we have to be extra careful though when we are hunching, bringing our shoulders forward or crossing our arms, because that indicates that we are nervous. Standing up, shoulders back, and chin up shows that we are confident, and that helps us in building the much needed credibility. Also, don't forget to smile either. It's the finest way to tell someone that we like them. And if that's not enough, smiling also has the ability to reverse engineer feeling joyful, even if we don't feel that way to begin with. One of the top 3 motivations that drive us as human beings is the feeling of being appreciated. All of the social media, in fact, the whole world is based on that one feeling. People will like you more if you appreciate them, especially while sharing your feedback. Now, as a Scrum Masters, you will often find yourself in situations where you are required to offer process-related suggestions. Here's what I recommend. While offering your suggestion, try not to give it up right away. First, appreciate them for everything that they are doing really well. This will make them smile, nod in confirmation, and will help you in building the connection you need for them to be open for your feedback. You see, when we give people feedback, even if it is positive, sometimes it can be viewed as criticism, which can make people defensive. So to avoid that, start by giving them some genuine praise. And even if you are not giving any feedback, just sharing your appreciation in general is one of the kindest things that we can do as human beings. Now, I used to be really bad at remembering names. And by acknowledging that I can't remember names, I gave my subconscious mind permission to save energy and stop remembering names altogether. But then I read this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book single-handedly improved the way I communicate with people. I highly recommend it. In the book, Dale mentions the importance of not only remembering people's names, but also actively using them in conversations. A person's name is part of who they are, and by saying their names, we acknowledge them, which makes them feel important. So I ditched this idea of being bad at remembering names, and now I actively use a person's name once or twice throughout a conversation. But if there is one thing I can recommend, try not to overdo this one. Saying their names just once or twice is more than enough. Confident and charismatic people tend to have a positive outlook on life. And this is really important if you want to be successful as a Scrum Master. Even if you're somebody who feels like you are kind of having this consistently negative attitude, remember that you can practice maintaining a positive outlook. You see, we tend to be drawn to people who are passionate, people who radiate positivity, because we want some of that positivity to rub on us as well. And I want to emphasize one of the key messages with these tips is you want to make sure that you do them in a way that's genuine. We all have our down days, so if you're not feeling positive, you don't have to fake it. Just give it some time. I mention this in my post all the time. This is the best way to make your team open up with you. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. In fact, if you think about the last time you were courageous, chances are that it was also the time when you felt vulnerable. I can't pronounce vulnerable. Vulnerability is a measure of courage, and it doesn't mean putting ourselves down. What I have noticed is that when I speak about my challenges, it helps people feel like they can also let their guard down and connect. So there you have it. I'm so very grateful you're watching my video right now. Make sure you practice, learn, and invest in improving yourself. Make sure of sharing stuff that you truly value and believe in. And make sure that you don't make it about yourself, but about the people you are working with. I would like to hear more about your ventures and challenges, so make sure you tell me about those in the comments, and I can't wait to know you personally.